And we are back for our final match of the game. It's been a great day today. I've had a ton of fun. I've gotten to cast with several different people. One of those people, Bairdrus, in the booth with me right now. And of course, I'm Mark, aka Chibikawaii. We've got Loco Pojo versus Mooch. Guru Flyers versus Combre Party. Bairdrus, do you want to say anything before we get this going?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a party, and let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be the last matchup of the day. As you all know, winner of this matchup is going to go into the next round robin, which will be happening next Saturday, which is I believe it's the 19th. Or no, the 18th, yeah. So November the 18th, we will have our next set of round robin, where I believe it will be 8 players playing off against each other in a round robin format, very similar to how we did it this weekend, and the top 4 of those are going to advance to a top 8, I believe it's single or double elimination bracket for our last day of the tournament. Should be, double elimination should be very exciting. So get into it and see which of these players is going to emerge victorious, and we'll get to continue on to the next weekend.
Yeah, for certain. And also, because I know Chad is very riveted with my chicken situation, I am unpleasant. Like, unfortunately, I have to say, not gonna get. They ran out of chicken strips. I don't know what I'm gonna do without my tendies. But it's gonna be fun. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this Awakened student coming out over the Kothon?
I think Awakened student wins you this matchup most of the time. If it dodges Vanquish, you're in a very, very good place. So I think Awakened student is just fine here. You can get to Kothon a little bit later on.
Yeah, but I guess like. You would have had you had Kothon, and then you immediately get the 3/3. I guess you're fine attack. Yeah, all right. So this you get a little bit more aggressive this way.
Yeah, you get to punch in for a little bit of extra damage here.
Okay,
it's not a ton, but it is like 1 extra point. And sometimes every point does matter in these matchups. When both players are looking to just swing at each other until one of them falls over, then every single one of those points is going to matter here. Pojo's got a lot of
that. I was gonna say that saddle coming down on the Cloud Snake is gonna hurt Pojo a little bit. Yes, there is that protect. However, Moosh has 2 vanquishes, and this completely bricks the outlet now. Yeah, there's some things are happening.
Yeah, I think that might have been a bit of a misstep, though we do obviously see, of course, the protect coming down. So Moosh not able to take care of this here, and now Pojo is going to be racing quite quickly. And now that Moosh is finally able to lock it up with the second Vanquish, Pojo is looking pretty dead in the water here, and he didn't even have a third Justice to drop the Peacekeeper's Prod, so not even like he has a weapon to establish. He could vanquish away the student, though, is very, very good for him. Really does need to take care of that student ASAP. And a little bit curious he's not going to play it here, though. At least he hasn't moved for it yet.
Yeah, and then I like going ahead and playing the Awakened student here, holding up Desert. I guess you could just go Awakened student and Kothon if you didn't want to hold up Desert Marshal, but I kind of like holding up Desert Marshal. It's the same amount of attack that you're getting by playing the Kothon, and then you have the possibility of actually preventing 3 points of damage.
Yeah, I definitely like holding up Desert Marshal in this matchup. Like, of course, you're racing. You're not really losing out. Like, yeah, you do lose out on 2 points, but since we are talking about the race, like, you're gaining 3 back by not getting hit. So it's those little life swings here and there. Of course, now it is established for the next turn. We're just going to be able to silence the Shelter Wing Rider to at least go ahead and take down the Aegis and not have the 5/5 bird bashing face.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to get hit for 3 here, and you're going to be able to get in 4 points of damage.
Yeah, he did get hit for 3. He should be able to actually, he can chip in. Yeah, he will chip in 4, of course, because the Shelter Wing Rider is still going to block. He's still winning, though. I mean, Pojo really needs to find another Justice. That way he can get the Peacekeeper's Prod in.
And that banner's huge because it's going to put Awakened Student out of range of getting eaten. And now we're going to have to see some chumps.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you don't have to block with the Harrier. No. All right. Pojo, what you got? What you got off that top?
Yeah, if he can draw it here, let's see.
No, yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, he's able to hit
GG.
it, and yeah, he's going to be able to sneak his way in here. So a very close game.
Wow.
We'll see him bring it down there. That was very tight.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, like, not, and then that's where playing that Kothon kind of shot him in the back, because if he left up the Desert Marshal's still probably going to pop the Aegis on the Shelter Wing Rider, yeah?
It does, but he takes 3 less points of damage that turn, and then you can start swinging with the...
He only takes that if you silence the... if you were to silence the Owlet, which I'm not sure that he would have done.
That's true. Yeah, you would have had to silence the Owlet, and yeah, you're probably not silencing the Owlet there. So yeah, it doesn't end up saving him at all, it seems. But it does end up locking the first game up for Pojo, able to kind of sneak it by him there. Pojo on a bit of a good run at this point. I mean, we saw him last series take down that other 2JP mid-range deck that, of course, Love Up was piloting, and it's like he's able to get it done at least the first game here against Moosh. Still just trying to dodge Sandstorm Titans, it looks like. That being said, of course, Moosh does have a Storm Titan in his opener.
Yeah.
And Pojo does not have an answer for it immediately, so that might be the tale of this game here.
The hand's a little slow, though.
Yeah, Moosh's hand is very, very slow. This is a pretty ugly draw for him. Like those scouting parties, as we were talking about in the previous series with Love Up, a card that definitely you do not want to be seeing in this matchup. It's going to be one of the first things yanks out when we go to sideboards after this game.
Yeah, and then I'm looking here. I'm curious to see why the banner has not been played.
I am not really sure either. Maybe he's trying to hide the fact that he doesn't have Primal Influence or like a Second Justice or something. But
what does that do?
Nothing.
Okay.
You may as well just get into the play now. He's definitely going to line it up this next turn, although it does get a little bit awkward, of course, if you pick up something like, say, a Seraph here that you would rather play, or a Valkyrie Enforcer, as we now see.
Yeah, well, I mean, he still gets to play the Seed of Progress, so, like, that part's fine. I imagine we silence with a 2/2, yeah.
Yeah, he is at least able to get the Valkyrie Enforcer down, though, of course, if this Valkyrie gets taken care of somehow, won't be able to play the banner. Although, it's just minor power issues. Like, he's still got plenty of sigils here. So.
Yeah, like...
We see Sandstorm Titan. Like, it's very, very likely to come down here.
Do you just take... I think you play the student this turn. Just to get that started to develop. Because, like, you're able to block... Oh, well, no, he's just going to go ahead and play. I think, like, because you take, like, 2 to 3 damage.
Yeah, I think that's fair, actually. I think you can afford to take a little bit of damage. I don't necessarily hate getting the Titan down here, though, and just, blocking the board out.
Yeah. I definitely don't either, but, like, I feel like having a 4/4 here.
Yeah, I think you could have had the 4/4 here. Of course, it's running in the Shelter Wing Rider, so it's not going to matter too much. And Pojo's just building up this force. I mean, if Pojo ever gets to a situation where he picks up like a Vanquish or a Valkyrie Enforcer of his own, we are going to see a huge swing here. Yeah, and I like this out of Moosh. I like that he goes ahead and pops the Kothon ult here. He could have taken the turn to just go ahead and drop like scouting party tokens, but popping the Kothon ult ensures that if something does happen to a Sandstorm Titan, he's at least got a 4/4 flying around.
Yeah, then you've got 2 blockers in the air. Or 3 blockers in the air, rather.
Yeah, none of these scouting parties are actually going to go off for Moosh's side. Loco Pojo holding double backlash here. He's just going to go ahead and take care of those as soon as they come.
Yeah, and I think I like going ahead and getting the Seraph in play first. Like, just in case we get a top... it's not going to get eaten by Vanquish or anything. You do have the possibility of getting silenced, but if you hit a non-depleted power off the top, it just seems very good. Yeah,
definitely. No, Seraph should certainly be coming down here. I'm not sure about this attack for Moosh, though. Seems a little questionable. Like, he ends up getting 2 units for it here, which I guess is fine, since Pojo would rather trade 2 units than he would rather trade either the Shelter Wing Rider or the Wild Cloud Snake. So I think this is fine. We do see a polymorph here, and he does polymorph the Sandstorm Titan. Now, that being said, if Seraph starts rolling here on the next, it get pretty ugly. And Pojo, yeah, just electing to hold everything back. Musha's going to go ahead and have the Amber Acolyte here, so he will fish up the 8 power, but of course he won't be able to activate the Seraph now.
Which I think is fine. Like I don't think Moosh is feeling like any sort of big pressure here.
No, absolutely not. No, he's ready to just grind out to the long game. Like he's got plenty of ways to block all of Pojo's fires. And
wow,
puts up another one while we're at it. Goes ahead and picks up a Carmine Guardian. So
that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's going to hold Pojo down pretty well in the air. It's not like anything's going to get past anytime soon. He is going to be generating a bunch of life with it. So,
you know what would be a fun hit off of Seraph would be champ. Why can't I think? Is it Champion of the People? +1/+1 for each battle skill.
Oh yeah. What is the name of that card actually?
Well,
Hero of the People.
Hero of the People. I was like, why am I blanking? All right, there we go. That'd be kind of fun because then every like subsequent one you're just getting bigger and bigger. I don't know. How do you like this attack?
I think it's fine here at this point. Like I think you pretty much understand that like you just need to clear as many flying units off as possible. So I don't think you honestly take the Karmic Guardian down here, but at the same time, if you don't take the Karmic Guardian down, how do you get rid of it?
Yeah, and I actually want this. I would have liked to have seen that Valkyrie Enforcer jump in front of the rider as well. Just in like, well, I guess you know that there's no finest hours in the main. Yeah, I guess you're not really playing around anything.
Yeah,
we're still pre-board.
Nothing too crazy coming down. We see Seraph picking up a very, very disappointing Emerald Acolyte here.
Even still, and that's another reason why the rider attack is a little questionable, because now that Karmic Guardian gets free reign. He just gets to, hang out and chill.
No, that certainly is true. Like Moosh has definitely opened this up here and was even able to go ahead and weave in another Awakened student here. And wow, just very, very subpar hits here from Moosh. If Moosh had picked up anything, I mean, the Karmic Guardian, of course, was really good, but like we see the Emerald Acolyte and the Amber Acolyte to follow it up. Like if he had just picked up one big unit, could have seen this game closed out a little while ago.
It's an Acolyte party. It's fine.
Yeah, definitely a party here.
Vanquish seems not bad here by any stretch of the imagination. You still get to activate your Seraph, and then you get to take care of that Cloud Snake.
Yeah, you can still get Seraph, and yeah, you can still get in with the Karmic Guardian. I was about to say that. It's just like you're going to keep just jumping your life total up, and I don't think Pojo has any way to race at this point. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen here.
Because like at some point, you're just going to start sending these Acolytes in. The old no units in hand for the Tranquil Scholar.
Not only that, but I mean, Moosh has had four drop now. I mean, the Karmic Guardian was fine, like we said, but this is 4 hits in a row now where none of the units have more than 2 attack when they come into play. So these are some very, very depressing small units. Yeah,
but I mean, like to be fair, as the as the game grows and we get more and more cards, Seraph's activation is going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, certainly. Ooh, and we do see Moosh actually getting pressured for a bit of damage, but Obelisk, a huge pickup here now. This is going to completely change the math in the air, where Pojo a second ago was looking like he was going to be able to start getting in some free damage every turn with his Shelter Wing Rider.
Yeah.
Now he's just going to be blocked once again by this very large Karmic Guardian.
And now you get to Obelisk, vanquish the Cloud Snake, and then I think you just shove, right?
You probably, will shove it. Wow, doesn't even go for the vanquish. It's not like it would have gone off anyway, but you definitely did want to at least try and force it in there, I think. Pojo, of course, had the backlash as well as protect, so he had plenty of ways, but yeah, it just wasn't going to happen there. The board just became way too big from Moosh's side, and Pojo is going to fall there to take us to 1 game apiece for both of our players.
Yeah, as we get into sideboards.
Yep, we will be checking out our players' sideboards now. Let's go ahead and start with Pojo, since he actually went down in that game.
Yeah, so I'm looking at let's see. Those backlashes seem great. Let's bring another one in.
Bring in the extra backlashes for sure. I mean, it's funny that we joke about that because backlash actually is like fine in the matchup. It prevents some of your units from going down, but it's not like it's certainly not a card you're probably bringing any more of in. I think 2 is completely serviceable.
I mean, Vanquish is like quite like I don't like you're hitting what maybe Crystallize and Scouting Party with it, and Scouting Party's terrible in the matchup anyway. Like
Crystallized, Scouting Party, Stand Together, Protect. I think Backlash is fine solely for if Moosh is going along the game plan of I win by playing Sandstorm Titan and protecting it, then I think Backlash is okay, just to ensure that when you do drop a Vanquish, for example, on a Titan, it goes through, because you really cannot afford to be trading 2 cards for a Titan, because you're already, he has 11 answers for Titan, and that's it. Like, you're capped out. So I think it's okay. I don't think it's great though by any stretch. Other than that though, I mean, you're not bringing in the Backlash though. I definitely agree. You can play. I guess I'll probably go for Skyrider Vanguard, right? Like we saw him do that in the last match. It's kind of similar.
Yeah. I mean, like I think you're just trying to run or race as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's essentially, I guess, how the matchup goes, right? Like, and because of that, like, I have to imagine you bring in like maybe a couple finest hours or something. It just makes trades a little bit cleaner, and you can force through some extra damage when you need to. Like,
it looks like Pojo is considering 2. Yep, and it looks like there's 2 finest hours in there, and it looks like we're about to get going.
I think 2 is fine. So Moosh's list real quick. He's got some Permafrost, which are pretty great. Definitely probably see those coming in. He's got Orc Rune Hammer, which is also pretty good. It hits most things in this matchup, so I have to imagine we'll be seeing those coming in as well. Other than that, though, not a ton. You know, obviously, players not really bring a huge sideboard for Huru Flyers. Who would have thought? Weren't expecting to face 15 Huru Flyers decks. In fact, probably not even one. So
I don't know. That's always part of my gauntlet when I'm testing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Make sure you get some excessive time in against Huru Flyers, just in case it shows up. So,
Moosh brought in the Humbug Swarm. That's interesting.
That is actually pretty interesting. I guess it just creates blockers for him. So
it seems, I was about to say it seems fine.
It's okay. Like, it creates blockers. It gets you to a situation where, like, if you really just need to buy yourself 3 turns against a Shelter Wing Rider that's beating you to death, then, like, sure, seems fine.
I mean, it also trades for an Owlet. It could trades for a Valkyrie Enforcer. Theoretically, could trade for a Cloud Snake.
Yeah, I guess if that's what we're looking at, that's pretty feels bad though. And speaking of feels bad, Pojo goes ahead and silences his Awakened students. He really just needs to stop it from growing. Mm-hmm. But Moosh has a Sandstorm Titan in hand that he's going to drop, and now Pojo does not have a way to check this.
I think I actually like Rune Hammering and getting rid of that Cloud Snake though. Well, maybe I guess developing your board seems fine too, and then like the hammer would have died on the crackback, and like what are the odds that Cloud Snake gets big enough that you wouldn't be able to answer with the Rune Hammer this next turn? They would have had to play 3 flyers. Okay, I've talked myself out of it.
Yeah, I think it's fine here, and Moosh is going to get the opportunity to go with it now. He goes ahead and drops Seek Power. He'll probably drop Auric Rune Hammer. Now he'll take care of the Cloud Snake, and Pojo's going to be digging. He's got another Shelter Wing Rider, but that's not getting it done against the Sandstorm Titan. So
no, and this
stuck for a little bit.
And this Rune Hammer going to be able to clean up that Valkyrie Enforcer as well.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Moosh has a Kothon in hand. He's also got the Humbug Swarm, so it's very likely he'll be able to amass like a small board of flyers for himself by the time that Pojo is actually able to take care of this Titan.
Yeah, so what do we I mean, like the board is kind of stalled at this point though.
Yeah, board's not going anywhere. Moosh is looking for another game like last game, in my opinion. Like, he's looking to just get a Seraph and then go to 8 power and then just say, that's fine, I'll just churn out some big units, like those Emerald and Amber Acolytes, and carry the game out that way.
Yeah. Now here's a question. Because like you could see your opponent start messing with your totems. Now, if you're spectating a game, can the players see us messing with the totems?
I do not believe they can. I'm also I'm not sure we can see them messing with the totems actually.
We can, because I've definitely seen the totem moving.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't actually sure.
Hmm.
If we could interact with them, that'd be pretty interesting. Here, I'll go ahead and mash one, and you mash the other, and we'll see what ends up happening.
All right,
See
which
if we get some angry messages from our players. I'm definitely taking the Emerald Monument. I like the lasers.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm not seeing you mess with it, so I have no idea what's going on. Maybe the spectators can't see, but we'll see what the players are doing. I don't know. Anyway, we last turn we saw Mooch go ahead and play the Humbug Swarm, get those out there. This turn it was the Runic Hammer, get rid of that Harrier into Kothon. I imagine we'll see a Kothon activation.
Oh,
there's a
the board
Vanquish.
break.
Yeah,
That's the board break we've been waiting for. All right, so now that we're back to playing an actual game,
Yes.
Mooch does at least have some blockers thanks to that Humbug Swarm, so he can very easily negate some of the damage this turn if he wants to, and he does have the ability to use Kothon's activation next turn. Create a double block on a Shelter Wing Rider.
Yeah, what do we... Okay, yeah, he does end up just taking it. Oh, wow.
Ooh, and that is interesting. It does definitely buffs his units up. That being said, Mooch picks up another Kothon. Unfortunately for him, the sequencing is going to be weird here.
Yeah, I think you have to activate the Kothon, right?
Yes, I think you do. I don't think there's really any way out of it. The unfortunate part is that obviously it's going to take a little longer to set up your next Kothon. That being said, I mean, you're able to check at least one Shelter Wing Rider with the Kothon activation. This turn, the Humbug Swarm is able to trade with the Sky Rider, so this is fine. I think that's fine too, the Humbug. Like, you only need 2 Humbugs anyway.
All right.
That's
well. You want 3, right? So you activate Kothon, double block. Oh no, I guess you just need 1.
He only needs 1. He can always use and he only really needs them to jump block for the most part anyway. Although now he's going to get punished by not having that extra Humbug token.
Oh man, yeah,
that's going to be unfortunate. Mooch taking a ton of damage here now, and it looks like Pojo is going to sneak another game out here.
Well, I mean, so he can live this turn, right? And then this turn he gets to play Kothon.
Next turn he can activate it.
Yeah. How do you do this? So you go Acolyte, Awakened Student, time into Kothon, and then Kothon you activate next turn?
Yep. It seems good enough. So he will be able to chump block here, and then next turn he can trade, but then he's already back to chump blocking the turn after that, without finding another flyer or some piece of removal for one of these Shelter Wing Riders. Really just needs some way to interact with them. Seraph, not going to really get it done in this.
No.
Like, if we were still in that board stall, this would have been fantastic, but
I mean, this is getting really, really, really close, though.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm looking at it, like, I didn't really think about all the damage from the swing, but it's a lot of damage going through to Pojo. It's kind of on Pojo, actually, at this point, to figure out how to answer this, because now he can't take 5 damage. Now, of course, he can swing through with both, but he's only getting a single trade here.
Yep. Oh my god,
Vanquish,
that Vanquish. But it still doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's still not going to win him the game.
Chump.
Yeah, swing 3 ground units, and Mooch is going to be able to lock this up. I don't think Pojo has anything else. Yeah, he's just got a Protect in hand.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty rough there that Pojo actually still lost that game. Like, it looked like he was able to carry it out there, but Mooch just ended up overwhelming him with all the units on board. I mean, I think it really came down to that last turn where he was able to weave in the Kothon, the Awakened Student, and the Amber Acolyte. It just ended up putting a ton of extra damage on the board that Pojo wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, and I completely agree. So Mooch up 2-1 now. I imagine we'll get back into our next game pretty quickly. Looks like they're revisiting the board a little bit.
A little bit of sideboarding adjustments. I think Pojo needs to re-examine his game plan a little bit. He ends up going back and taking out the extra backlash that he had put in.
Yeah, I'm not feeling backlash really. I don't know.
It comes down a lot to if your opponent sideboards in Protect here, in my opinion. Like, you have to take care of Titan in order to win the game. So Backlash is a very necessary card for stopping Protect specifically. But if they're not sideboarding and Protect and they don't have Stand Together up that often.
Yeah, I mean, but like I don't know. You've got 7 Bane deck answers to Titan.
Actually, he has 11.
Yeah, with the enforcers. Like I don't know. I'm not worried about the 2 protects coming in from Moosh.
I think it depends, like for sure. For example, like Moosh would have had an even easier game if he had like a way, for example, to protect Pojo from that first Vanquish. Like think about how many extra turns of damage Moosh would have been able to prevent just by keeping that Titan in play.
Okay. No, I mean, yeah, that's definitely
you're always winning the late game if you're in C. So it really kind of depends.
This is a hand that I think Moosh is excited about.
Yeah, this hand's very interesting. That being said, Pojo has a pretty reasonable hand himself, though we're going to see a lot of damage getting thrown back and forth. Big pickup for Pojo with that Vanquish there, though. Moosh holding one of those protects we talked about.
Oh, man.
One of these gets alive, and that Valkyrie Enforcer coming down at a good time, too. It's the Awakened Student in check.
Oh, well, here's the Sandstorm Titan. Now, the question is, does Moosh play around the answer and wait to keep this protect up? I think you do with that Runehammer sitting in hand, because you still have a perfectly fine turn 4 play.
Exactly. I think you can afford to curve into Runehammer on turn 4, and then you can wait for that extra power to be in play to drop Sandstorm Titan with Protect held up. I mean, that's how you win the game, essentially. We've talked about it back and forth. And, I mean, that's really the crux of beating Pojo's deck, is like Pojo can pop off very quickly.
Well, this was a line that I wasn't particularly expecting.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily bad, though, but this is going to get pretty awkward now that there's a 6/6 Valkyrie Enforcer in play, because you can no longer handle this with your Runehammer like you would have liked to. Maybe you ignore the Runehammer for this turn, then. Maybe you do something like go Awakened Student into Kothon.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards at this point in time, and just really hoping that you get another power.
Yeah, well, he needs 2 power, in fact. Like, he needs the extra one, that way he can establish the Titan with the Protect for his turn 5, and then he's really looking top deck to 1 after that to activate Kothon.
Yeah.
Summon up the big old bird.
What? All right.
I think this is fine as well. I mean, it gives you 1 extra health, and it also takes another unit off the board, because you're just worried about getting punched down.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the clock.
That much is true. It does not change the clock right away.
But it still was a 3. Well, so if the 2 drop, like if the Tinker Overseer stayed around for a while, then that becomes a little bit of an issue. But when you're just looking at the 8, it didn't actually change the. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't change the clock. So I was just, it's interesting. And now you'd be sitting with a 4/4 in play, like. I don't know. And you have you'd have another 2/3. So if you did hit that power,
yeah, it definitely makes jumping here a lot more awkward, because actually he's gonna trade the Titan away. I mean, I guess it's fine, because the Eager Owlet goes back to being a 0/3, and then the Snake is already silenced regardless. But I don't know. I think I might have honestly just tried to jump block there down with like a Desert Marshal, and just waited until you could establish Awakened Student and Kothon, and that way you can create a good series of blocks.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. There were definitely.
I think that honestly cost Moosh the game.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Pojo is going to be able to carry it out here just based on the fact that Moosh opted to trade in that Sandstorm Titan. Like, when you're playing this game from Moosh's perspective, I'm talking here, but now I actually see the line of play, of course. He doesn't have Primal. I don't know how we missed this. Moosh doesn't have Primal. So, yeah, none of these Kothons are coming down. So, yeah, I guess that's why he had to do it. But now that being said, he still didn't have to trade the Titan away, I don't think. I think he could have just afforded to jump block for a little bit, and I honestly would have opted for jump blocking over trading the Titan, if at all possible. Since the Valkyrie Enforcer did come down, then he should have been able to have 2 blockers in play. Yeah,
I enjoy
missing the Kothon power though.
Okay,
This is brutal.
what do we? Oh man, yeah.
Now he draws another Sandstorm Titan. That's the only thing that keeps him alive at this point.
Island Choice, a good draw. A little too late though.
Yeah, well, a good draw when you have Primal as well. Since,
Oh well, yeah. Don't. It's permanent. Moosh permanently has Primal, so we're getting a game 5 here. Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to get a game 5. That was game 4. So both players now tied at 2 games apiece. As we're going to get into our decider here. I mean, it's been super back and forth. I guess from Moosh's perspective in that game, he felt like he needed to get the 6-6 off the field, but it ultimately cost him the game. I mean, when you're playing against a deck like Pojo's, you have to recognize Sandstorm Titan is the most important card. There's a reason why Pojo has 11 main deck answers to Sandstorm Titan. Mm-hmm. It's because he understands he cannot be. There's no way for him to get around it. So as long as you can keep one in play, you're good to go. But sadly, Moosh had to trade it off there, and leads to a game 5 here. So go ahead and see Pojo take a mulligan here. And fairly weak hand out of him. This doesn't have, like, he's on the play, which is good, but it doesn't have any of the high impact early cards he's looking for, like the Cloud Snake.
Yeah, like Moosh's hand is okay. It's a little awkward. It's definitely better than what Pojo's got going on.
I think Moosh's hand is like fine. It's not fantastic by any stretch, but he has a Permafrost and he's got 2 Desert Marshals. And I mean, I guess that's all you're really looking for here is just ways to interact with Pojo's units.
And most importantly, should have all of the influence.
Yeah, he will be able to get all of his influence this time since he does have Amber Acolyte and Seek Power. So yeah, fortunately not going to fall into that trap this time around where he gets stuck on his influence requirements. He'll be able to establish his Kothon.
Yeah.
Sarath, good pickup as well. Sarath's always a solid body to have in play for Moosh. It allows him to start swinging at some point early. And see what Moosh does here. I mean, he could just fire off the Seek Power. He could hold the Desert Marshal. He could also Permafrost. I think they're all viable options here.
I like the Permafrost and then go ahead and firing off Seek Power, or maybe you wait on the Seek Power actually.
Do you? Well, if you had to pick one right now, which color are you?
I mean, I'm going time.
Yeah, like I mean, you're going time. You're going for Sandstorm Titan, but that's really, I think,
rewarded.
Yeah, he rewarded for slow play for sure. There, like he definitely, like I would have gone for time. You would have as well. I think most people would have. Yeah. So then now you're short on the Justice. So ends up holding it. Definitely gets paid off here, and now all of a sudden, the Awakens start cracking in until we see Finest Hour come down.
Nom.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pickup for Pojo. That being said, Moosh can just silence away the flyer, and Moosh has built a pretty reasonable board here on the ground. Sarath, a very solid addition.
Yeah, and Pojo does have that protect, so the first Desert Marshal probably not going to do much. However, that second one, it's going to do some work. Also, wait a second. Wait, what? Is Moosh like... Oh, okay. Moosh is working with some foils, some non-foils. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, he's doing that alternating thing here. I do have to say, we got to give a big shout out to DWD, of course, for making the deck building interface look better when you're playing with with foils and non-foils. So very fortunate there. At least it doesn't make the deck images look terrible. But yeah, I mean, Desert Marshal. I mean, come on, man, it's only an uncommon. Like, where are your premiums?
That's what I'm like. My thing is, I'm all for mixing and matching, you know, but if you're gonna,
he's not mixing and matching Saraths, you know, he's doing it with Desert Marshals. Come on now.
Well, my thing is like if you're gonna play a foil, just play all 4 foils. That's I guess like that's my opinion on that matter.
Yeah, you got to go all the way. That much is for sure. Look at Pojo on the other side, like rocking the foils, man.
Interesting though that this Seek Power didn't get fired off last turn because it replaces yourself. You still would have been able to itself. You still would have been able to Sarath and Desert Marshal and played a power last turn, so that way if you drew 2 powers in a row, you'd be able to activate your Sarath.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's correct.
Yeah, I don't. Yep. See, punished.
Yep. Now we see that. So he gets I
guess the seat would have been depleted because he would have played out.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. So I guess not quite punished though. Can't call it that early. He gets rewarded for the good seek power early. He gets punished for the bad power late. I mean, overall though, it just looks like Moosh is in such a commanding here. Pojo's only got 2 units, and now we're gonna start to see Seraph going off and Prosecutor at Arms. That's a card here.
Yeah, that's the old the old -8 attack.
Yeah, well, it's actually
okay.
yeah,
It's a mentor. Yeah. So,
sadly, he doesn't do it for himself, though. That would make that card a lot better in draft. Still quite solid, though. Goes ahead and takes care of the Tinker Overseer in the meantime. And meanwhile, Moosh is just going to keep rolling the Seraphs here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's getting some very solid hits this time around. No more Amber Acolytes, no more Emerald Acolytes. We're getting 8/8s and 6/6 that let you draw cards.
Wow. Yeah, I was about to question the blocks there. I was like, letting the 8/8 through. Bold move. Bold move.
What's 8 damage really at the end of the day? It's not going to matter when you're getting down to 0 one way or another. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. We're just seeing game being played out for the formality of it, but I'm pretty sure Pojo knows he lost here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moosh can't even afford to take care of the Seraph here. He's going to have to take care of the 8/8 and the 6/6, and meanwhile, 7 of the 8 damage Moosh needs comes through here.
It's okay. Pojo's got harsh roll off the top.
Dude. No, he actually does. Yeah, it's his 90 his extra 4 cards that we let him put in.
Yeah. Well, it's those hookups, those sweet.
Yeah, a little bit of favoritism. We slip by the 94 card hookup, so let him go ahead and put the harsh rolls in. But of course, Moosh's going to definitely take this game down. -22 for Pojo, and as we talked about at the start, Moosh getting a little bit of sweet justice. Might have been 2-13 on the weekend, but still clawing his way back here in this last chance to get a shot at day 3. It's going to be next Saturday, so very, very big congratulations to him. That's got to feel pretty sweet after I know he's been having a real rough weekend.
Yeah. Well, all's well that ends well, right?
Definitely.
That's where we're going.
Yeah, definitely. It would be nice if other card games had this kind of format, where I just get to go 2-13 on the day and then get back in anyway. So
well, and I was saying, I really, really like this round robin, especially for a smaller tournament like this, because then you take out that argument of matchup roulette, right? It's like everybody has had to play the exact same matches. And so I think it really makes the results brings a little bit more validity to the results, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. No, I certainly like the format as well. Like, I think the only complaint really is that it's just a little bit long. But other than that, I mean, format's great. We get to see a lot of good matches, good sample size, see that the players perform well overall. And I do like, kind of building in that last chance. Obviously Moosh had a rough weekend, whether it was his drawing or his playing. I'm not one to say. I didn't see all his matches, of course, but he is able to bring it back in. So he will keep himself alive, as we're going to have, I believe it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. 9 players from Sir Rhino, Child Roland, Angry Chicken, Top 201, Ilya K, Unearthly, Hythar, Lights Out Ace, and now, of course, Moosh. Going to be playing in a 9-player round robin. It will be happening next Saturday. It's going to be day 3 of the Invitational. Of course, we saw Kamado, Sunnyvale, Tobu, and Visarius lock up their slots for the top 8, which will be happening on next Sunday, where we are going to crown our winner of the Eternal Tournament Series of World Championships. So all very, very exciting stuff. Thank you so much to all of our players and viewers who came out today. And I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Rekenner.
Oh.
Thank you, Bairdrus. And thank you both, Bairdrus and Mark, for casting today. But yeah, to reiterate what Bairdrus just said, we have 4 people going directly to day 4, the top 8. It's a double elimination bracket: Kamado, Sunnyvale, Tobo, Sarius. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Loco Pojo, who just saw lose, Love Up and Conf Croat, who took bottom 4 in the round robin and then played the single elimination bracket. And day 3 will be a 9-player round robin. Sir Rhino, Child Roland, Angry Chicken, Toth, Ilya K, Unearthly, Hythar, Lights Out Ace, and Moosh. The top 4 will join the top 4 from the original round robin, and that'll be our double elimination top 8. And so that is it for the broadcast today. We've paired 16 down to 9 for the next round and 16 down to 13 to advance to the second weekend. It's been a long day. We've had a lot of great games. I'm super hyped for the second weekend, but I'm also happy to get a chance to rest, look over the brackets, do some stats, see how everything played out. So I'd like to thank all the players in all of our tournaments, the people who are playing in the Worlds, who've played in Invitationals, and everyone who comes out to our weeklies. And I'd like to thank all of the viewers. If it wasn't for all of you, we couldn't be doing this. Putting this tournament and stream on every week is amazing. Super fun, super great to hang out with all of y'all. It's great. I would also like to thank our producers, Miller Tool and Teehee. Teehee was the producer today, but both Miller Tool and Teehee have put in a ton of work over the last year or so, getting all of this put together and set up. The broadcast looks so much better than it did a year ago, all thanks to their great work. I would also like to thank our graphics and code contributors who make our jobs much easier, specifically Mangar for the deck image creation tool, and Dragonfly for our sweet new logo for Worlds. And of course, a huge thank you to our video editor, X Kirby, for his weekly highlight reels, the super sweet intro he did today, or for the broadcast today and yesterday, and next weekend, and the interviews he did with our players for Worlds. They're great. I'll leave that to the viewers to agree with me or not. No, Ilya's interview was great. It was a little long, but he is very passionate about the game. Maybe needs some lessons in brevity, but I can't blame him. There's a lot to talk about this great game. But and also a huge thank you to our Twitch subs and Patreon backers. They make it possible for us to have our prize pools at the events, including the $3,000 prize pool we're giving out to the top 8 at Worlds. Our $20 Patreon backers are Chuck Hurst, Easy, Chris Kearns, Andre Pokai, Seek Power Gaming, and Frosty HS. And a special shout out to Aphelion503 and how do you say this name? Chibikawaii? To our friend Mark Cook, the caster you all heard for the last 6 hours, he subs to us too. So super big shout out to him. You can find our Patreon at www.patreon.com/aReNGee Eternal. And so next weekend we finish off this tournament. We get to see who is crowned the winner of Worlds and crowned Player of the Year. So once again, thank you, Mark Chibikawaii. Do you have anything to say?
No, I don't know. I was going to try to say something about influence and being blind. I got nothing. I stream on occasion. I would encourage anybody to pop in when they're bored. Normally Sunday nights, and then randomly throughout the week. Today, not going to do it since I casted, but I'll be around. Come see. Oh, and if anybody's going to be at DaishoCon in the Dells next weekend, hit me up because we should drink. Just putting it out there. All right, now I'm done.
Thanks, Mark. How about you, Bairdrus? Do you have anything to say?
Not too much. Just want to thank everybody, of course, for coming out again. You can catch me casting these tournaments most often, though I have taken a short break, of course, here and there, but I should be back for good. We'll be here next week, of course. I don't know anything about Star Steel Daisho Con or whatever the hell that was that Chibi brought up, but it sounds dope. So you guys should definitely hit him up and see if you can catch him out there. Yeah, that's about all I got. Thanks everybody for coming out, and yeah, I know I worked real hard today, but glad that we could bring it to a close.
All right. So if you're all watching now, you know we're going to be broadcasting this again next weekend. Pre-game analysis starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. Tournament coverage starting at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. Following it up, same thing on Sunday. So 10 a.m. if you're interested in pre-game, hearing me and a couple of analysts chat for about an hour about the tournament, and then 11 if you want to just watch the action. See y'all next weekend. Have a good evening, good afternoon. Enjoy the music on the way out.